Hi, Dawn Zurcher here. My mission is to help you find your energy and well-being so that you can nurture a thriving family. I'm going to start tonight with a story. When I was newly married, I was heading out for work and I could not find my keys anywhere. Here I found out that my husband had hidden my keys. It made me so mad. I think that it ended with some keys flying at him and leaving a nice little dent in our little apartment wall. But he was justified in taking my keys because he knew for sure I was going to be going to work and I happened to be sick, like really sick. Like I probably couldn't barely talk. And I don't know if you've ever been in that situation before where you're frustrated that you can't go to work or do the things that you want to do because sickness has held you back. As a teacher, it was a pain to make sub plans. I rather just be there and suffer through my day. And also I hardly ever got to see my students because I was a music teacher and I would have shows coming up. So I felt like if I missed out, it would put me way behind. It was just really frustrating. Now, I'm glad that my husband, there he is now, there's us recently. I'm glad that he cared enough about me to try to keep me home. But I have to say I've come a long way as far as my health goes since that in my 20s. Even though I was in my 20s, I was still getting sick a lot. You think if you're young, you might be pretty healthy, but I would get at least 3 colds a school year. I thought it was pretty normal being around kids. But now, with what I know now, I know that it's not. And I've learned that in order to stay healthy, you must feed your immune system before you're sick and fuel it properly while it is active. And to do this, you really do have to educate yourself and make good everyday choices so that you don't have to be frustrated with time off or canceled activities and possibly throw keys at your new husband. So today I'm going to just talk about a brief overview of your defense systems and then those choices that we can make to help educate you about that, and a little bit more about my experience and what I've done to help me have a much stronger immune system and just be healthier in general. So the first thing is that our body actually has 5 defense systems. The immune system is just one of them. The first one is called an angiogenesis system, and that is where your body is deciding where to send blood vessels or retracting them. So if you have good cells, the new cells, they'll send the blood vessels to help them grow. And if there's bad cells, it detects the bad cells, it doesn't send the blood vessels there. Another system is the DNA protection system. This is where it's checking when your cells are reproducing that the DNA has replicated properly. The regeneration system is the little fixers that go around, the stem cells that go around and fix up tissues and organs if there's an injury. And then there's our immune system finally. This one is, our immune system's defense is actually going and attacking and neutralizing any foreign invaders in our body. And finally, we have a microbiome system. This is the community of little bacteria and microbes that are in our gut and actually all over our body. We actually have more microbes in our body than we do cells. And they play a surprising role, as research has been finding in the past 10 years, in controlling our body. They release our hormones, they have something to do with our brain health, and they also control our immune system response. They're the first ones to say, hey, this, you need to get rid of this thing, because if you think about it, that's where a lot of stuff is coming into us. They also can control your mood, and they also can dictate to you what you eat. So it's really important to have a good microbiome. Now, most of these systems, or especially our immune system, uses acute inflammation. It's their tool. It's the immune system's tool to get rid of these foreign invaders. So that's why you get the runny nose and the stuffy sinuses and the fever. All that is inflammation that is showing that your body is working to get rid of what's causing the problems. But what we see happening a lot is something called chronic inflammation. And that's when, after the invaders have left, that your body just stays in that inflammation state. And that is where disease comes from. I think I read about 90% of our diseases are chronic inflammation. That is the root cause of it. And so if we can eliminate some of this chronic inflammation, we might be able to lessen disease. I like to think of inflammation as my good friend Winnie the Pooh. In this story, if you're not familiar with it, Winnie the Pooh comes to Rabbit's house. He eats honey there, a lot of it, of course, and then he tries to go out his front door and gets stuck. Well, imagine that Winnie the Pooh is that inflammation. And he is now being stuck in that hole. He is now stopping anything from coming in and invading Rabbit's house. And in the story, his friends decide that the plan is to not feed him anymore, and so he could shrink. And eventually he shrinks and he comes out. Well, that's acute inflammation. That's what you want to have happen. It stops what it needs to stop, and then it goes away. Chronic inflammation would be if Pooh's friends decided that they needed to continue feeding him, and they kept on feeding him, and he just keeps on hanging out in Rabbit's doorstep there. Or maybe even starts getting even bigger and fluffier and, overflows the area. That's what we don't want to have happen, and that's chronic inflammation. So there's lots of ways that we squash our defense systems. And I will admit that, back there in my 20s, I was not doing some of these very well. You'll notice that the first 4 on this list are things that have to do with what we put into our body. And actually, technically 5 if you count the dehydration a little bit below. Like most, for our immunity and for our body's defense systems, you need to fuel it properly. So a lot of what you can do and the choices you can make is food. But something I was not doing extremely well, even in my 20s, was depriving my body of sleep. For some reason, I wouldn't go to bed until like 11:30, and then I'd be getting up at 5:30. I'd crash on the weekends then, but that's just really not good for your body to stay at its healthiest. Also, lack of movement. I was pretty good about that in my 20s, but your body really needs to move to keep it functioning well. And then also, if you're surrounded by a high toxic environment, this includes, your cleaning chemicals and things you put on your body. Those things you can control. And that's what I was going to say, is that these are all things, yes, we can control or make choices that impact this and help our health be better. So here are some of the choices that you can make or we can make that can help our immunity. First thing is sleep. Aim for that 8 hours a night. I'm doing a lot better at that now, especially now that my kids are out of their baby stage. Exercise. So let's get moving. Again, this doesn't have to be like a formal workout every day, but try to aim for getting up, and if you work at a desk or something, getting up and walking around for lunch, and just keep your body moving. Hydration, you really should go for about half your body weight in ounces. And you can reduce our toxins and your cleaning products and body care that you have at home. The chemicals just overwhelm your system. Your body doesn't know how to break them down or what to do with them. And eventually it can build up and just cause some of that inflammation in your body just not to work well. But as you saw on the list before, food is actually one of the biggest things you can do that will impact your immunity. Right here is a list of what I like to call the powerhouse foods. These foods support all 5 of those defense systems. Now, as you can see on the list, these are all things that are pretty yummy. Peaches, carrots, matcha tea or green tea, apricots, walnuts, mangoes, kale, and squid ink. I had to put that one on there. It was on the list, and I have to admit, I've never had squid ink. You have to let me know where to go get squid ink. I'm assuming it's at a world market or at some fancy restaurant. But apparently it is really good for your immunity or for all of your body's defense systems. And then also looking to try to get high fiber foods in your diet. Fiber really helps your microbiome in your gut stay healthy. I got all of this information from a doctor I've been following who I just think is an amazing doctor. His name is Dr. William Lee, and he just wrote a book called Eat to Beat Disease. And he goes into each of these defense systems, and specifically if you're dealing with different issues or diseases from these defense systems, he goes over more specifically foods. I also highly recommend, too, if you're dealing with chronic inflammation, to check out Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. and her GAPS diet as well. She has done a lot, her whole career has been devoted to figuring out what foods feed our body for healing. So both of these are excellent resources if you want to dive in and learn more about how to eat to beat disease. Now, there's also some minerals and vitamins and also some other herbals that can really help you when you're sick. All of that stuff before that we were just talking about is more preventative, creating a lifestyle that's going to give your body the best chance to fight off diseases. Now, sometimes even you're going to get sick sometimes, even if you're at your most healthiest. But when that happens, there are definitely some things that you can go to help your body. And the first one is vitamin C. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it. Vitamin C is found in all these different fruits and well, mostly fruits and some vegetables. And it supports your body's health in so many ways. The thing to remember about vitamin C, though, is it's water soluble, which means that if you drink a glass of orange juice, your body will take what it needs of the vitamin C and then flush the rest out in your next bathroom trip. So when you're sick, you do need to actively take vitamin C throughout your day, whether that be eating things that have vitamin C in it throughout the day or, taking a supplement. Also, we hear a lot about zinc. Zinc is a mineral that really fuels your immune system, and it's really good to take if you're starting to feel those symptoms. This is echinacea. Echinacea comes from the purple coneflower, and this herb has been used by Native Americans for centuries to help boost your immune system, and it has clinically been proven to do that if you take it at the beginning of onsets of symptoms. And more recently, the mushrooms have been getting some attention. This is a reishi mushroom. And again, there's been studies that have shown that this does boost your immune response and ability to take on defenders. You usually find it in a powdered form or in teas. That's how I get my reishi mushroom. This one, I have to admit, I've just recently learned about this one. This is alfalfa. And we're not talking about the alfalfa sprouts, but the leaves, the mature leaves and stems have a natural antihistamine property to them. So this alfalfa is not something that we usually sit there and munch on, but there are some great supplements that you can take and use as a natural antihistamine. And I've heard people having good results for this for allergies too. And finally, garlic. Garlic is known to have almost antibiotic properties, so it can help with inflammation and infections. And it's a good thing just to take. Now, you do have to eat a lot of garlic in order to realize the benefits. And as you know, garlic is so strong. And it's actually that strong flavor, that's the part of the garlic that helps. So I highly suggest using a supplement. The one that I would recommend actually has patented so that they can keep all the goodness but not have the garlicky taste, so you can get what you need to defend that cold. So these are all great herbal natural things you can add to your diet if you are actively fighting off a cold. So let's talk about next steps and what my next step was and to tie up my story, because I'm no longer throwing keys at my husband anymore in frustration. Actually, I have been experiencing the past year something that I've been kind of amazed, because even though I'm not in the classroom anymore, I'm now a stay-at-home mom with my 3 girls. I'm still being exposed to lots of kitty crud. My kids in the past year, since we've re-entered society and been back in school and around kids, they have, I'm not joking, come down with 8 colds in the past 12 to 16 months. And out of those 8 colds, I think I've only had symptoms of 1. My husband, too, has experienced really good immune strength. And I stopped to think, like, what have I done differently that's keeping me so healthy? And so I am making better choices as an adult. I've committed to the lifestyle for 8 years. I've used non-toxic cleaning products in my house, and I'm getting much better sleep now, especially now my kids are a little bit older and out of the baby stage. And I've always committed to moving and doing something to keep my body going. But one of the things I know has been a huge change for me was back about a year and a half ago, I got introduced to an amazing company that has great wellness products. I had never used any of these types of products before. In my picture here, you can see on the left, this is me in April of 21, right around the time that I started these products. The reason I looked for products, I was eating healthy. You're looking at a picture. I had worked out every day for 4 months up to this picture, trying to just lose weight, get more healthy, feel better. I was experiencing a lot of brain fog, fatigue, and I didn't quite understand why, because I was making good choices. And I added in this pack called Ready Set Wellness, which included supplements that had a probiotic, has all those good things that we were talking about as far as vitamin C and zinc and just lots of minerals. B vitamins also help your immune system and general health, and omegas, which help inflammation. And as well as it includes protein. Protein is plant protein is really good. One of the foods that can help boost your immune system, and it also includes the prebiotics that are feeding my microbiome well. And I noticed within 30 days a difference in how I felt. And it hasn't been until I looked back over this past year with my kids and realized, wow, that is also a great benefit, is that I have not been stopped or slowed down at all. There's a picture of me on the right that's this summer in 22. I just feel better. I have more energy, and I feel like I look like someone who is exercising and healthy. So it's been an amazing thing for me. And also, with my kids coming down with those 8 colds, there were times, almost every time, where I started to feel like my body was fighting it off, right? You had this feeling. And so I grabbed my Triple Defense Boost. This is a tea that has all those great things that I mentioned of herbal things to help support your immune system and boost it when you're sick. It has the reishi mushroom, it has the echinacea, it has vitamin C, it has zinc, lots of other good things. And both my husband and I will take this when we start getting that feeling, and the next day we wake up and fine, and we don't end up getting the cold. So it's just been an amazing thing, because it's an amazing thing to find something that has helped me stay healthy, because I don't want to be stuck like poo. I don't want to be stuck in chronic inflammation. I want to make healthy choices and feed my immune system before I have symptoms, and I want to continue to feel it properly during the attack. So I really, if this interests you, I really highly encourage you set up a consultation with me. I'd love to talk you through some of these products that I've used that have helped me maintain this great immunity and health. And also, or even if you want to just talk about a plan on how to make these healthy choices to support your immune system, I'm definitely here to listen. And because my mission is to help you find your well-being so that you can nurture a thriving family. You can find me at my website, which is dawnzurcher.com, and schedule a consultation right through there, or message me on Facebook, and I would love to help you out, because I much rather you be a Tigger instead of a poo. We want to be Tigger, hopping through life, not being happy and joyful and energetic and able to take on whatever life brings. We don't want to be stuck, frustrated like poo. I hope this information was valuable. If you enjoyed it, please like this video so that more people can hear the message, and I will see you next time.